Morning, everybody. Chalo, nice to see you guys in the house today. We are streaming on YouTube. Yes, we are on YouTube today. And yeah, it's going to be pretty nice and interesting. Chalo, let's go, everybody. Okay. If you can hear my voice clearly, give a few thumbs up, hearts in the reactions. Okay. Let's see how this YouTube works today, everyone. Chalo, let's go, team. If you can hear my voice clearly, just give a few thumbs up, hearts into the YouTube. Okay, we will start with today's topic. It's going to be really nice and interesting. Okay, meanwhile, guys, could you please mark this poll? I think 150 of you have already marked it. Okay, did you watch the Spring Boot related session? Okay, that's pretty good. Okay, nice. Thanks for confirming all the members. Okay, so you guys can hear my voice clearly. Nice and good. Okay, we'll get started with today's session. Nice and interesting. Okay. Chalo, let's go, everyone. We will be working around with the YouTube chat as well. Okay, nothing but we will enable it, disable it. Like we will ask some questions, and at that time, we would like to see how you respond to that. In between, we will keep posting some polls, which will really add value as well. Okay. So yes, this is the YouTube studio. I've like shared my entire screen. Now let's get started for today. Okay. So let me end the poll here. Out of 180 members, 86% has watched yesterday's session. Guys, a very sincere request to all the members in the house, take actions. Already yesterday itself, we got started. If you don't take daily by daily actions, the work will pile up. And after that, catching up will need more time over weekends you would have to spend. Okay? So don't let that happen. Right from day one itself, start being very productive. Okay, fine. Chalo. Ending the poll. And let's start with today's topic. Okay, team. So basically, as part of today's session, we will be focusing on two primary things. Okay, we will be focusing on two primary things. One is we will be looking at the project overview. So whatever project we are going to work upon as part of this internship, so we will be working upon that project overview. And the second thing is we will be understanding a technical topic, okay, which is working with end-to-end, working with version control system. Okay. Now, if you go back to our day one related session, there we said there are two primary aims of this internship. Two aims. Okay. The first, our major focus is how to build functional requirements. Okay, nothing but how to code. Basically, we need to code the functional requirements because this is what every project needs. And the second focus is going to be knowing the end-to-end working process. Nothing but process, tools, softwares, how people work on a day-to-day basis in the IT companies, and how you will be working along day in by day out. Okay, so this is what we need to know. So as part of this version control, the process related part, okay, we will be getting started with one of a very important topic because every project is going to have version control system. We will be using version control such as Git. Okay. Now, there is a whole lot of things which we need to understand with regards to this, the branching model and all of those things. How the environments are maintained, dev environment, QA environment, UAT environment, prod environment, how these things are maintained. And at the same time, how do you work with branches when multiple people are working on the same project? This is what it is. Okay, so when multiple people are working on the same projects, how they collaborate. Okay, so we need to really understand there are a lot of standards there. And what I realized based upon my experiences, many people go wrong in the beginning stages, and it has been so risky. Some of the people, okay, really messed up with the branching, and entire work of 1-2 months was messed up really bad. Okay, and the project was about to close, and some juniors really messed up with this branching model because it was a small scale company, and the right processes were not in place at that time, so proper restrictions was not there. Okay, who can do what kind of changes with the code? So because of that, some juniors accidentally made mistakes and really messed up the code of like past 2 months. And then in order to recover back the old code, quite some drama was happening. So please understand, version control is very important aspect. And right from day one into your development life, you will start working upon this. Okay. And strong maturity is required in order to work with this. So yes, we will be understanding these things practically, technical topic. But before getting into that, let's speak about the project. Okay, guys. So everybody ready for the project? Just give a few thumbs up, hearts as part of your reactions of YouTube, and we will get started, everyone. Chalo, 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 everybody. Let's go, team. Okay. I think there is going to be a 10 seconds lag between what I am streaming and what the YouTube reactions might be. However, yeah, if you can like hear it right now, give a few thumbs up, give a few hearts, and we will get started. Okay. Project overview. Listen this thing very carefully. Everything has to be understood. It's not about theoretical understanding. It is practically, you should understand everything, and then how do you really build it up, and you should be able to explain these things further during your interview. So guys, please be with full focus. Leave everything aside, concentrate on the session. It's going to be lot of value coming out. Okay, nice. Thanks all the confirmations, guys. Let's get started. Okay, let's get started, everyone. So project overview. First of all, we are all going to be working upon a payment integration project. Okay, payment integration project for our e-commerce client. Okay, what exactly this is? Let's take a simple example. We are using, let's say, amazon.com. So as part of Amazon, we go ahead adding products to the cart, and then now we want to do the payment, right? So we go to the cart page, and in the cart page there are multiple payment options, right? You can do payment via credit card, a debit card, nothing but card type of payment. You can do net banking kind of payment. You can do PayPal kind of payments. Okay. And you can do maybe phone pay or UPI kind of payments. Nothing but all these are multiple payment options which are provided in the cart page or checkout page. Okay. Now, our work is for one of our e-commerce client, the way Amazon is there, like that, there is some other e-commerce client. And for these people, we need to develop these kind of integrations. Okay. Please understand. These are nothing but something called as integrations. So what is going to happen? If I put it into a diagrammatic representation, there is going to be the core e-commerce system, where nothing but the products and all that, the websites which you see. So core e-commerce system is going to be e-commerce system. Okay. Next. Okay. So this is going to be e-commerce system. These guys are going to talk to us. We are going to be part of the payment system. So we need to build this entire payment system. Okay. And then on the other hand side, we will be having these kind of integrations. Nothing but multiple payment options. Okay. For example, something like, let's say, here is one PayPal integration. Okay. Next, if you see any kind of a bank, so let's say net banking in that Axis Bank, HDFC Bank. So nothing but net banking integration. Next, if there is a way of doing Google Pay, Phone Pay, UPI, so that kind of integration. Okay. Now, please understand that being the part of the payment system, we don't develop these systems. PayPal is already existing, banks are already existing, UPI and all those payment methods are already existing. Okay. However, it is our responsibility as part of the payment system to write code to interact with these systems. Interact to and fro. Interact to and fro. Now that is what is the work of our team. We need to write this entire code here, which is nothing but the payment integration code to talk to these multiple third-party providers. Okay, and in domain term, the terminology for this is called as PSP, or payment service provider. Okay, PSP, also called as, full form is payment service provider. So name itself is very clear. They provide payment services and we need to have it with us. As simple as that. PSP. Okay. So these are the multiple PSPs and this is what we want to integrate into our system. Okay. Now the point is our client is operating in primarily two areas, Europe and the US market. Okay. Our client is operating in Europe and the US market. So we need to understand what payment options do they provide. Okay, and in our project, two of such payment options are coming. Okay, we need to integrate. First, we need to understand what runs in the European and US market for making payments. What are the most big players there of how people are making payment? And then we need to integrate those. And for our clients, we are getting two integrations of this nature. One is Trustly. It's an option, the way these kind of people are. Okay, PayPal and all these providers, you go to their page, you log in, you make the payment. Like that, in the European market, there is something called as Trustly. On the checkout page or the cart page, you show Trustly option, and using Trustly, you can make the payment. So it is one of the option available to the e-commerce customer to make the payment. Okay, this is one approach. Now the second is we are getting one more integration called as Stripe. So these two are going to be our payment service providers. So please understand, we need to build a project where you, me together are all part of this payment system. So we are not part of the e-commerce system who is developing those products and all that. That is a separate team. Our work is to write this middle piece of the system which integrates with multiple third parties. This is also called as terminology wise third party integration. Third party integration. So we will be integrating with Trustly, we will be integrating with Stripe as part of designing this payment system. Okay, guys, are we clear so far? Just give a quick thumbs up into the. Just give a quick thumbs up, guys, into our YouTube channel. Okay, just give a quick hearts. 100%. So far, are we on the same page? Okay, just mark it. Because this is basic. Once you understand this, then we can dig more down into it. Okay, simple, eh? Okay, put it up there, guys. Nice, nice. Okay, we'll keep asking some polls, we will keep checking on some comments and all that, but let the session progress. Okay, let the session progress. We have like a lot of topics to be discussed today. So nice, thanks for all the confirmation. So there go, team. Basically, we need to do these two things. We need to build integration with Trustly and Stripe. Okay, and we are part of the payment system. There go. Now, I will be touching down in details. When we build any system, when we build any real world application system, we are not developing monolithic application anymore. Nothing but in part of yesterday's session, we saw how to create one project, right? One Spring Boot project. Guys, understand these things very carefully. We created one Spring Boot project yesterday from start.spring.io. Okay, one project. Now, in the current world, there are many people who are going ahead with the model of microservices for building system. Microservices for building system. Okay, what exactly this means is, in order to develop this payment system, you can imagine right now we just took 3 examples like this. We want to integrate 2 with our system right now, Trustly and Stripe. In future, more and more of these integrations will keep coming. We need to be sure that this core piece, the payment system that we design, has to be modular, scalable, and it should support new integrations as we add. Okay, so please understand this. The payment system that we are building, payment system should be modular, scalable, and support to add n number of new integrations. So it needs a proper design thought. How do you design such a kind of system? Because without that, everything is going to mess up. So for that reason, we cannot put this entire code of payment service into one project. Full payment system cannot be one project. We cannot do that. Okay, we need to build multiple microservices here, multiple microservices, and then it will be okay, what is the need and purpose of each microservice? Okay, nothing but you can simply assume every microservice is a independent project created from start.spring.io. Yesterday we created one project called as myapp, right? So we created myapp dot some project. The final output was jar. Like this, we are going to create multiple microservices. Okay, for example, our microservice we will be creating, let's say for example, one microservice will be payment. Let's put it here. We will create multiple microservice. Let's say one microservice is payment validation service. Payment validation service. This is one service name. That's one of our service, payment validation service. Like this, we will create another one called as payment processing service. Next, we will create another microservice for talking to Stripe. Let's say we call it like Stripe provider service. This one we call as payment processing service. Please understand, everything we have to do it as per the right standards. Next, we will create another service for talking to Trustly, and we call it Trustly provider service. Okay, now just try to understand. The core payment system that we are trying to build is not going to have one project. This core payment system is going to have internal multiple microservices, and there is a purpose of every of the service. We need to understand that. We need to design in such a manner. Okay, right now, if we do only Trustly and Stripe, in future, PayPal, if we want to integrate into our e-commerce client, we should be able to flexibly add any new number of integrations. That is what it is. Okay, now this is what is required. So now we are going to build this entire central section. How do we design microservices in a model which can support n number of integrations? The problems that, the challenges that we will be facing. Okay, how to design a payment system which can support multiple PSPs, payment service providers, okay, without much modification of code. The modular application, modular, reusable, application, we need to build this. Okay. Now, second thing, how ease of developing, debugging, maintaining. Nothing but if something is going wrong with Trustly, that should not impact Stripe. It should not impact anybody else. If there is any problem in any part of the system, easy to find, easy to solve, easy to fix the bugs. Okay, like that kind of, basically we have to do the design process. So now the conclusion so far is we are all going to be part of the payment system team. As part of payment system team, we will not develop only one project. Rather, we will develop multiple microservices. Each of that is an independent project which will be there in your Eclipse IDE. Okay, you can simply assume yesterday we created one project, myapp.jar. Now, right now in our system, we will have payment-validation-service.jar, which is one separate project. Next, we will have payment-processing-service.jar. Next, we will have third, stripe-provider-service.jar. Next, we will have fourth, trustly-provider-service.jar. These are how we will have 4 separate microservices. Everything is a separate project in IDE, which will be developed independently, coded, tested, and gone live like that. How to do it, we will understand this fully. Okay, but guys, this is what it is. Okay, enabling the quick chat here. Just quickly confirm. Okay, how is your understanding about this so far? Okay, guys, everybody. Okay. So far, whatever we understood, just quickly comment. If you understood yes, just comment as yes. If you understood whatever we discussed so far, put it in chat, guys. Just comment as yes in the chat if you understood what we have discussed so far, because this is important. This is the core. Iske baad we will get into the other side of practices. Okay, guys, just comment yes if you understood what we have discussed so far. Okay, Abhishek, Prasad, AP, Praveen, Shubham. Nice, 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 nice. Okay, nice, awesome, awesome. Okay, okay, team. Now, this sounds really good. Now, the thing is, we need to now understand what is this functional requirement. Okay, okay, very good, very good. Chalo, let's take it forward. Okay, closing it down. Okay, so that we can focus on the session. We need to really manage these things properly. Okay, now let's focus back on the session. If you want to really build this, one system core like this, what is going to be the functionality so that we can code it? Okay, so our next focus is how these integrations actually work. So we need to understand how these integrations actually work, like from technical aspect. Okay, now please understand this thing very carefully, guys. In the real world, whenever you want to integrate with any third-party providers, so now let's say, for example's sake, I will just clear this. Okay, this is not PayPal, rather this is Trustly, let's say, for example. Okay, the logo of Trustly is something like this. Let me go here. Okay, Trustly. Images. This is how Trustly looks like, guys. Oh shit. Okay, let me take this Trustly. We will put this into our diagram. So this is how Trustly logo looks like. We want to integrate with Trustly. And next, Stripe looks something like this. These are all providers available. Okay, this is how Stripe logo looks like. So I'll just take a screenshot of here, and then we will be putting it into this place. But let's back on the focus. Okay, so the summary here so far is we are going to develop this common central payment system. As part of the payment system, we are going to develop multiple microservices. Our aim is currently we integrate with Trustly, Stripe, and in future as we go through, more and more integrations we will keep adding to it. Now we need to design these kind of systems. Now every microservice that we code has to be a separate project in the IDE. Okay, every microservice that we code has to be a separate project. The project is going to be just similar to what we did yesterday, something from start.spring.io. We take it, add the dependency, build this code, and eventually it's going to have these kind of repositories and finally jar files once we do Maven package. And these jar files, Maven package, we will be executing it. Okay, now this is what it is. So we need to really get down to how exactly these technical integrations work. So let's understand what Trustly actually looks like and what basically Stripe integration is. And what you will realize is majority of the models of integration is almost common. Okay? Now, please understand this thing. Okay, in the real world, whenever any third party comes in, for example, let's say Trustly, they are going to provide some integration documents. Nothing but if any software or website or other applications of the world wants to talk to Trustly, then Trustly has to provide some integration document. Similarly, Stripe will provide some document, or any other providers. Everybody is going to have something called as integration document. Okay, now we need to really understand, okay, so what is Trustly integration document? And generally when you work into the client, into the company, you will be given access to these kind of documents. Now the thing is, both Trustly and Stripe has shared their document publicly. So I will be sharing you these links also. But if you really go here, guys, okay, just see here, have a look here. This is a kind of developer document which Trustly has said. Okay, just have a look here. EU developers.trustly.com. So in their official website, they have given a documentation. Okay, if any e-commerce website wants to connect to them, what are they supposed to do? This is how Trustly has given. Dekho, e-commerce accept payments. If any e-commerce system, so yes, we are an e-commerce system. If we want to accept payment via Trustly, then this is how the documentation looks like. Okay, then this is how the documentation looks like. E-commerce accept a payment. Similarly, if you want to use Stripe for accepting payments into the system, in that case, we will be using some other document. Just see something called as Stripe will have a different process. Let's say checkout. So our efforts will be, how do we spend time in understanding what these modes of integration are? We need to read this documentation completely. So guys, understand, doing a real-time project is not just applying your Java knowledge into project. It actually means, how do you spend time in figuring these things out? You have to read the documentations. You need to understand what are they really trying to tell us. You need to understand the code sample which is provided by these people. Okay, you need to understand all of these step-by-step actions, what is going to happen, and then one by one experiment with that, and then you apply that into your project. They have given diagrams and all these things also. We need to read the documentation and understand it. So please understand, if you want to do any third-party integrations, let's say PSP integration third-party with Trustly or with Stripe or any other provider, so we need to spend decent amount of time in reading and understanding integration documents. Because without that, we will not even be knowing what exactly we should do. Okay, please do understand that. Integration document, we should read it, and then we should get understanding, okay, how to technically integrate with these guys. And means, how are you going to do coding? How will you do coding? Now you have to have thorough understanding about this entire flow. Okay, how it works, how are you going to do coding? Now let's say for example, let's read Trustly what this guy says. Okay, guys, focus. Step by step action is simple. It's not that complex. So empty your mind, look at it from a clean perspective. Okay, if we want to do trustly integration, they have given us accept a payment, and these are simple steps. Think about it functionally first. Okay, so first we are going to look at that from functional perspective, guys. बाद में देखते हैं how to code it. First, let's understand only functionally. Later, we will think about how to code it. Okay? Now, functional perspective, let's say how it is going to work. Step number 1, what is this? This is how a typically deposit flow is. They use the terminology called as deposit for actually depositing money into the e-commerce account. So money will be taken from the customer and deposited into e-commerce account. Nothing but, let's say on the e-commerce website, you want to make a purchase of a product. You will add it to cart and then you will say, okay, I want to pay money now. Once you pay that money, then the product is going to be given to you. Nothing but money goes out from customer account and gets deposited into the e-commerce team account, and that's how it works. Okay, we will talk about domain knowledge and all those separately, but the flow is deposit flow. Money is being deposited into e-commerce account. So this is how terminology they have used. So just check this thing out. Trustly is using the terminology. First, we are inspecting Trustly. They are calling it as deposit flow, where money is taken from customer account and deposited in e-com account. This is what is the first number step. Okay. Now, what it says, your customer selects Trustly as payment option in your web shop. Nothing but parallelly try to visualize. You are using Amazon.com. You are now on the cart page, checkout page. You are about to make a payment and take the product. So as part of this, we need to display the way right now credit card, UPI, net banking options are there. Like that, we need to display Trustly option in the customer UI. So please understand, in the e-commerce website, there is going to be a UI page where you might use the term for that called as cart page, at cart wala jo hota hai. So you just call it cart. In that, they are saying you should first display a button called as Trustly. This is how it will start, right? Otherwise, how will you use Trustly for making payment? So first of all, you put it here. Trustly ko, you just put it here. Now the second thing is what it says. Your customer selects Trustly as the payment option in your web shop. Nothing but on the e-commerce website, the user is going to come and he clicks on Trustly. That is step number 1. Okay. Now, what the second thing what they are saying is, your system, nothing but now we need to assume they are telling everything from e-commerce perspective, but internally we are two separate teams. E-commerce team is separate, payment team is separate. So please understand, but from Trustly perspective, both of them, they are saying, hey, you guys are one team. So what Trustly is focusing here, ki, when the user clicks on Trustly button, in that case, your system sends a deposit request to Trustly API. Nothing but now we need to understand, but what they are saying is, okay, your system, so this entire thing is our system, we should somehow call Trustly. The term they are saying, okay, deposit request. We need to make a deposit request to Trustly API. So please understand, in the real world, one of the way by which these systems communicate with one another is in the form of APIs. APIs. What is APIs and all, we will understand. But basically, APIs, if you just simply put it, okay, we will get into more details about APIs, but two systems can talk to one another using APIs. API is nothing but it will be having, okay, a request URL. For example, let's say if Trustly is our provider, they might give us, okay, apis.trustly.com. Okay. Trustly is our provider. It gives api.trustly.com https colon slash slash api.trustly.com slash, okay, api.trustly.com slash, let's say, deposit. So if you want to call Trustly API, they will say, okay, my API is something like this, or they might call something like payment/deposit. This is what is called as request URL or API ka URL. So if we want to call them, we need to call something like this. Next, we need to provide some request structure and some response structure. Dekho guys, all of you are Java developers, right? We know that if you want to write some logic, what do? We write class, and our entire logic, we write it into methods. What method has? Method has a request structure, let's say string, some value, and then int, and then something something. The method has request structure, and then you would generally have a response return type, right? Now point is, this is how in the real world also business logic is being written. Some method somebody will write which will expect some request, they will do the logic, and they will give a return, some value, return something. Now the point is, how do these method can be called by external company? So for example, if Trustly people have written a method like this in their end, they want to give it to us as a e-commerce system. How they provide it is they expose it in the form of APIs. So APIs are pretty simple. Via APIs, outside system can talk to these people and they can execute. Okay? Outside guys can talk to the system and they can execute these methods. This is what it is. So the business logic which you will write in your Java code, okay, if you want other people to be able to call it, then we say